What's up, guys? Welcome to the rotation with Talexia Hooper, and
Samaya Kitchens.
Today's topic is about
Black women reproductive rights
and women abortion rights. So let's get into it. All right, y'all, we're gonna get started.
Let's get into it. We're gonna take it all the way back, giving y'all the rundown on what's going on today with women reproductive rights.
The first topic we're gonna talk about, it correlates to what's going on in the world, but we're gonna start off with the black women human body and how we never really had control over our bodies since the 1980s. Like, we never really ever had control of our bodies as black women. And with these new rights, now it doesn't even matter what race you are. Women in general just don't have any control. But as far as a black woman, we dealt with it more than white women, because even when it came down to slavery, we never had a choice of having kids or not having kids. We were basically forced to just push out kids for our masters.
That's right. Going back on, thinking about it, it was cool when they did it. It's a problem when we do it.
Period.
Women were not able to have control. They were told to take care of the master kids, but also have kids, but get their kids sold. How is that fair to us?
Exactly.
When welfare came out and black women wanted to keep having kids so they could have money, yes, some of them were wrong, and they didn't do the right thing with the money, but some of them, to provide for their kids,
they had to be on welfare. They had to take those opportunities.
Exactly. So it's like, for you to try to take it away and try to tell them, okay, we're gonna start birth control so y'all can stop having kids, so now I'm getting in trouble if I have a child, to go now as if I don't want my child, I have to still have my child. Like, it's not fair. It's just too much goes in to how they want to control our body, but it's us. And as black women, that's hard, because back in the day, they labeled black women as bad mothers, as we're raising monkeys, we're raising criminals,
hoodlums.
But what else was it for us to do when y'all painted this picture of us, when every woman is seen to be a mother at some point in time? Everybody wants a woman to have a child, but what if me getting pregnant interferes with my health, interferes with my living? I'm supposed to still have my child, and I might die if I have my child.
But when it was y'all choice and it was y'all, in control to determine if we could or couldn't have kids, when it was up to y'all, we need all black women to get on birth control, or we need to push this product out and stop their, reproductive system, slow it down. They're having too many kids. Now it's like, you're gonna have this kid, regardless of what the situation is. If now it's even times where it's like fetal abnormalities, like it's something going wrong with the baby, and they're telling you, like, until this fetus dies inside of you, you're gonna have to carry that baby, which I feel like is just not fair at all, because you got to think, you put not only is my life at risk, you're not thinking I could be a mother of 4 other kids. And because this new right, my child may be out of a mother, because y'all put me in this situation to where I got to keep this child knowing that it's a risk to my health.
Now, just putting it in a different thought, what if a young girl gets raped and she becomes pregnant? She's still expected to have that child when it wasn't her doing, when it wasn't her choice? Y'all still expect her to have that child for what? For it to get neglected? For it to get in foster home? For it to be on government?
Like, I just feel like, they don't give a damn. They don't give a damn what the case is now. Because I really just need to know, like, what in their right minds, push them to even come out with such a thing. And even in certain cities, certain countries, rape is okay. Like, you can't go to jail for rape in certain places, which I just feel like that's personally crazy. Now it's just like, with this new law, like, incest is even a possibility now.
Yeah.
So it's not even, fetal abnormalities, health problems that's a risk. Incest itself is a risk, because merging genetic like that, you never know what your child, the outcome of your child is going to be. And that could be, not the woman's choice. Like somebody said, rape. It can be a case of rape on incest. And they don't give a damn. Sex trafficking. Not even thinking, hell, a prostitute.
Yeah.
Pop out pregnant, got AIDS, HIV, already at risk. Your child is at risk already because you already have these diseases and you are still forced to have this child. And even with not being able to have abortions, now it's going to be a case of desperate times. Some girls are going to do anything to have an abortion. Like, for example, what's the movie, The Color Purple?
Yeah.
When she went to the lady and got an abortion. Lady using rubbing alcohol and liquor to clean her utensils to get this girl an abortion, and she could have died. So now it's going to be more risk with that, because we got girls who really just don't want, even though it's easy to say, well, you can just drive to the next state and go have that abortion. Some people don't have that privilege, so now they finna do whatever they feel they can to get rid of that baby.
Yeah, now we're enabling alcohol abuse, because of course you can get online and look up how to kill a baby. Like, okay, it might lead to drug abuse. Okay, it say if you do this, or if you do this to your stomach, you eat this certain food, you drink this certain drink, just to hurt your body, just so you can get rid of that child. Mistakes happen. A high schooler, you good on saying, she made a mistake. She got her whole life ahead of her. Her parents give her a choice, or maybe it's her choice. It's not the right time. I don't feel like nobody should be expected to do something that they don't want to do.
And
being that we're women and we know, it's sad, because some people really don't know. If we only get a 6 weeks time to get an abortion in Georgia, what if some people don't find out till they're 4 months. The body is so confusing. You can
a woman's body is so weird. Exactly.
And you could be pregnant and you don't even know, and now your time is up, and now you're forced to have that baby because everybody wants to control you. It's a problem. That's not okay. I don't feel like it should be okay. I feel like something should be done. For a man to speak on whether a woman should have a baby or not, it's not your body. The having that postpartum, the mental state that leaves a woman after she has a child is a whole nother different thing, because it's like the postpartum, you don't know, she might neglect her child, she might start neglecting herself.
Exactly.
Anything can happen, just like the Jeff Dahmer movie.
Exactly.
As you see, his mom was a drug abuse, an addict, doing that in front of her kids, all because they didn't know it was postpartum.
Exactly.
From having a child, that can bring you down.
Didn't know what to call it. So now I just feel like even the mental strain of now you being forced to keep this baby, you being forced to keep what's inside of you. So now your mental strain going to be all over the place, because at this point you stuck. It's not a situation of, sometimes young girls feel stuck when they had the option of having an abortion, because now they sitting thinking, should I or should I not? Now you don't even have that option to sit and think about it. It's, you can't. Now you can't. Now you stuck with this responsibility. Now you stuck to accept whatever the outcome is, unless you go and doing something that's going to be dangerous to you for this. And Roe versus Wade has been around for a long time, and I guess women didn't think it was going to get this far to where it was going to be a case of them having full control of our bodies. Back in the day, Roe versus Wade, they've been denying women the rights to abortion and publicly founded hospitals, because those hospitals hurt black women. So
having a child back then, a black woman was to have a child, she was punished. Even when a slave, when they wanted you to have kids, guess what? You got the opportunity to probably get free. But when they didn't want to have a child, they were punished, they were sold, they were beat, they had to sleep with other slaves just to support their slave master. And it's like, now it's coming back in time, like, wow, like that happened before and it's happening again, and we have to make a change. Like, this is not fair. Like, you go back and think, how is that possible? Like, y'all didn't want black women to be mothers, so y'all created birth control. Now it's like everybody might try to get on birth control now just so they can prevent having a child, only because now you don't even get to make the choice. Long ago in 1994, 12 black women got together. They called themselves the Women of African American Descent for Reproductive Justice. They had three main points in their justice framework. One was to decide if women should have a child. They should decide if and when she will have a baby and the conditions under which she will give birth. Two, decide if she will not have a baby and her options for preventing or ending a pregnancy. Three, prevent the children she already has with the necessary social supports in safe environments and health communities and without fear of violence from individuals of the government. Now, if even in Forest Park, we go to school at Clayton State. In Forest Park, you go down there to the abortion center. White men standing out there telling you that this is not
this
God.
Is wrong, yeah.
This is wrong. You shouldn't do this. Why should I have to feel the hurt? You don't know what I have going on
or what my situation of becoming pregnant was. And it's so crazy because, like, from even ancient times, you know, when kings and queens, they wanted to have heirs. They were like, if the queen didn't produce, you know, a son at first, the king would want her, you know, to keep having babies until he had a son to be the next heir of his throne. So it's crazy how we go from times like that to times like now. Even, you know, higher income countries, they don't go through this because I feel like certain countries, they may value women a little bit more when it comes to their reproductive system than we do in America. In Georgia, it just seems like they try and make it to where they feel like this is a fair pro-life situation, but I don't feel like it's fair at all because I feel like when it comes to a woman, the only person that should have control over her body is that woman.
Exactly. They never have our back. And that's sad, like, to be a woman and to have a decision, oh, I don't want to have my child. What if I'm sick? You get what I'm saying? Like, these are real things. Like, you can have sickle cells, like,
things that you don't want your child to have.
Exactly. You're going through something that is inherited. Why would I want to bring my child into that? First of all, pandemics. We've had pandemics. We're going through market crashes. Why do I want to bring my child in this right now? And we have this going on, monkeypox, COVID. We're getting shut down. How am I to take care of my child, take him or she to the doctor? And it's a pandemic going on. We can't even go nowhere. All type of stuff.
Global warming starting to get bad, climate change, just a lot of things going on in the world now. And these policies, they didn't only affect Black Americans, you know, but just, you know, the meaning and period of reproductive freedom, just period. Like, you just don't have any control over it anymore. And I just really feel that it's so crazy how they could, you know, sit and contemplate about this for years, and this end up being the, you know, the final decision of it, the final answer.
And continuing to ignore these health-related harms that women, children, and families will face by restricting abortion access will undermine the essential tenets of the reproductive justice framework, which is not okay. These 12 women worked hard to get our voice out there for Black women. We already did. You think about stuff that women have had to go to. We already didn't get the rights to vote. We never have a say. So it's like, how is this to keep going on, living in this time? So much goes on, the mental state that you can be in, suicidal thoughts with a child or without a child. It's like being a woman is so hard because men do not understand what goes on with the body.
And it even comes down to, you know, the certain job you have. Women already are not open to, you know, having good jobs like men have. And that's just a, you know, a gender-based thing.
Why should we be expected to stay at home and just cook and clean?
Yeah.
That's all we've been known for, is to cook and clean. You go get a job, that's not a woman. That's not a woman job. How?
Exactly.
So I'm supposed to have a child and I can't do everything
have,
else?
Yeah, that a man can do. And it's crazy how y'all have a say of our body, but when it comes to men, y'all have a say in if you want a vasectomy or you don't want a vasectomy. Why isn't it a thing that men are required to have a vasectomy after 4 kids? Why isn't it required or a law that this man can't get a vasectomy because he don't, you know, do what he's supposed to do? I feel like certain things like that should be considered into play. If y'all not considering rape, incest, sex trafficking, you know, prostitution, you know, if y'all not considering that, why aren't y'all considering vasectomies for these men who are already, backed up on child support? Now they pushing out another baby. Why isn't he required to have a vasectomy until, and vasectomies are reversible? Abortions most time aren't reversible. When you go through, like, sometimes of course the pill doesn't work, and sometimes that happens, but if you are, you know, required to do certain things, why aren't men required to do the same thing?
And another thing, would you take something like that away? Why the fuck would I want to just have an abortion? Like that's just not gonna hurt me. Like as if I'm just gonna walk out of there smiling. That's still gonna hurt me. I'm killing something that I created, whether it was a mistake. I mean, yes, of course, if
we're gonna feel something for that.
You might not care that you killed a baby, but your body is gonna feel different. You have to bleed. You have to do this. You're gonna have to rest. You're gonna hurt.
And either way it go, for those situations, even with rape, and some people feel like, even a rape victim don't feel anything because they have raped. There have been cases where women have been raped, and even though they are traumatized from that, they still want to keep their baby, because at the end of the day that was a mental strain on them to make that decision. So if somebody else has been raped and they decide, I don't want this trauma to be with me or my child, I don't want my child eventually wondering how they got here, or it comes up in a topic on how he got here, because I was raped by his father, and now his father's in jail or he's dead, whatever the case is, because I was forced to have this baby by rape. When in some cases, like I said, women who have been raped, they end up growing some type of love for that child, because they feel like even though they were raped and this wasn't consensual and this wasn't my choice, I feel the love for it, because at the end of the day you are my own. It doesn't matter how you got here. So it's not going to be the same for certain people. It can be a very traumatic, experience for this young lady, because she's raped. Now she could be trying to do anything to get this out of her, because it's reminding her of what she been through.
Exactly. Because now y'all taking away abortion right. Okay, you want me to have the child and do wrong and go back to what y'all thought black mothers were? Y'all thought we raised criminals, versus when I do this, I had the child and I just let him do what he want, hands free, let her do what she want, hands free, wash my hands, because it's like, that's my child. Because in cases like you said, when people get raped and they have to have a child, some parents everybody don't believe in abortions, and I feel like that's up to everybody's choice. Some religions, that's not allowed, and that's okay. So because she has to have that child, she might not love that child. She might, yes, she had it, but she's not. You can't expect her to
cling on to something that was forced to her.
Yes, to her, that's like.
And you don't know what that's going to do to her mental as well, because even though she can't love that child because of what happened to her, she might feel bad, because she's feeling like, why can't I love what came out of me? Why can't I? Even though this was not my choice, this was not my decision, this child is here now. Why can't I find this emotion in me to feel some type of love for this child? And she can't, because that was a traumatic experience for her. Regardless of if it's down the line she may end up loving this child, it's still a very, very mental thing for her.
Think about how that leaves the child. It's feeling the neglect. So what is it gonna go out and do? Find love somewhere else. Seek for it somewhere else. Do anything to try to feel love. Get run over and get abused, and now exactly what you said. What we raised monkeys and criminals and stuff.
Exactly.
That's exactly what you're doing now, bringing it back. And we shouldn't be looked at that, because it's so much expected of us. Talked down on, looked down on. Even single mothers, you're a black mother and she has to raise a son by herself. Think about how he has to grow without a father figure.
Yeah, I feel the mental strain of a black woman is always more than a white woman, because at the end of the day, we've been dealing with this for years. For years, our ancestors dealt with this. So that mental is going to be way worse on us, because like we said, a lot of black women suffer the role of being a black mother. Having black sons, you got to worry about going into the world. So it's gonna all tie down to what the white people already expected us, and what we created.
Man always get the last say.
So now, because of this neglect, because of my trauma of having this child from rape, he hasn't felt that love, so he resulted into going into the streets. Now I'm a black woman that has a hoodlum, that has a criminal, that has a monkey. because of what y'all forced me to do, and now my child is just in this role. Now he has a mental strain on him because he can't understand why his mother can't love him.
Yeah.
And I can't understand why I can't love him even if I want to. If I have a feeling that I want to love this child, but I can't because of what happened to me. This was never my choice. I feel like this child should have never been here in the first place. And that leaves, I feel like that leaves, mental illness on that woman for a long time. Like, that's something that is going to stick with her forever because the child is here. Yeah. That's not something you can forget as much as you try to.
Think about an illness. Like, me personally, my mom has lupus. So what if that could have, you get what I'm saying? They took away that, and God thankful that I'm here today. What if she getting pregnant and it came down to me or her? Knowing who my mother is today and everything she had to look forward to and where she's came up and she's vice president now, I would want her to have chose her. Because what would I know? I wasn't me.
And the changes that she make now, what changes would have been made if she wasn't here?
Exactly.
What changes would have been made?
You have to think about stuff like that. Like, she already has the weight of that illness on her. So imagine how being scared of when she's getting pregnant. Like, what if when she found out I'm a girl, what if my daughter gets lupus as well?
And I feel like that knowledge from that, it could have, made her have all different kind of researches towards this topic, all kind of, resources for women, because she had done went through that. But now to this day, you don't even have that option. Now
you don't even.
Now whatever happened to you happened to you.
You don't even get the support. You have an abortion where I don't see too much of a clinic where a women can go to. After you have that abortion, you're sent on your way. Yeah, they've done their job. Nobody. Then you have to come out and you see people protesting. Looking at you
and guess what? Majority of those people out there who are protesting are white people. They are white people.
Men
white men. Yeah. And there are some white women as well. But those are typically the older women who have already had all these kids and now they're so against, abortion. But at the end of the day, when I come out, it's nobody consulting me or asking me why did I make this decision.
And it's known as black women always having kids.
And don't want to take care of them.
You see the rest on behind them. So now look what you're doing. Now if I keep getting pregnant, maybe I'm fertile. Maybe birth control. Birth control does not work for everybody. Yeah. It tears you down. And I am a person who tried several birth control. Birth control has affected me the first time. It made me sicker than what I was, made my period worse than what it was.
Exactly.
So now to think that now we're going to give y'all exactly what y'all are saying, so we shouldn't have to have the weight of, oh, look at her with all those kids.
If you didn't want to have kids,
stop having the kids.
Yeah, if you didn't want to have kids, you should have got on birth control. You should have used a condom. You should have did this. Those don't always work. So it doesn't always come down to being irresponsible when it comes to childbirth. There are real complications to why I don't need to have this child right now. So I don't feel like the government don't take that into play.
Yeah, they don't look at it from women's perspective.
I think they look at it as like a capacity control.
Yeah. Now, if you notice something, the people who are more working are more older people. They want as much kids to hold the future up as possible. Yep. So now that baby boomers are coming in and Generation X is growing, they liking that because now it's gonna help them in the future. It's gonna help them build up more money and more. Yeah, because I feel like now our generation, we have more entrepreneurs. I think the rates of more entrepreneurs are more than the young people going to school for things actually. So I feel like they're afraid that if we don't start having kids to, go in school for, becoming the next lawyers, the next doctors, the next people in office, like they say, the rates of nurses are going down because nobody really wants to work anymore. Everybody wants to have their own business. And so I feel like they're pushing this, having kids out because they feel like they need a new generation of kids who are really going to want to be in the workplace. And look at us, 19 and 20. And we're becoming the new adults.
The new adults who make 6 figures from a business. Not punching into a clock, not working for anybody. I can have a hair business. I'm making 7 figures from that. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not having any kids. I don't want to put my life on pause right now because I'm being so successful. So now, even if I did get pregnant. I didn't find out till I was 5 months. And I still feel like this is not the right time for me. I just got on to my career good. My sales are booming. I'm doing so good for myself. I'm getting this close to having this multi-million-dollar house that I've been working on. Right now is just not the time for me to have kids.
Exactly. Even
and I have no say so.
Students,
as a college
we're
student,
trying to get a degree right now. A baby is gonna put a pause, because when we have the baby, we gotta sit out 6 weeks so we can get that time with that baby. To think about that, being a college student already holds a lot of mental weight on you anyway. So having a baby, that's even more. And then to have an abortion, so I feel like nothing comes to play. They don't think about the different scenarios of how this could play out. And we gotta make a change. Well, all I can say, ladies, is they don't give a damn about us, and we're gonna have to look out for our own selves. I mean, you know, whatever you decide that you have to do, I hope everything works out. You know, hope if you get pregnant and you have to have that abortion, hope you know before your 6 weeks, or maybe you can make it to Florida or South Carolina and everything work out for you, or maybe get on birth control, or you know.
At this point, we just gonna have to pray about it. Hell, we just gonna have to see if at this point, if God got us.
Yeah.
Cause we can't have ourselves no more.
Can't depend on the people.
Can't depend on the people who are in control of our life, our living, our rights. Hell, our jobs. So,
our kids. Yeah.
Our health.
Anything.
Shit.
Yeah.
Anything. So it's just like woman eats world, women's versus world now. It was always man versus world. It's woman versus world. Now they don't give a damn about us. So we're gonna just conclude that with,
yeah, it's cool when they keep having kids. It's a problem we do it.
Fuck them. That's that. The references we used to help us get more in depth about our topics were
Killing the Black Body by Dorothy Roberts,
Reproductive Justice Matters, an article from the American Journal of Public Health, and interviews from PBS NewsHours.